Hello and good morning. This is Andy McCann coming to you from Woodstock, Georgia, where I own CrossFit Garage. My job is to help you look good naked and become harder to kill. Yeah, fancy effects there, right? So, hey, we just did something pretty cool. I want you guys to, one, listen and just enjoy the fun stories or whatever. But two is really to set something up for yourself, a future casted event that you're interested in and doing, because fitness is fun, training is fun, but putting it into action is even more funner, is gooder. So future cast something, find a thing to do. It doesn't matter what it is. Pick something, get out there and do it. Jamie just took a bunch of girls, ladies on the I guess that's Little River. Over by Rope Mill, there's a creek and they did stand-up paddleboards. Yeah, cool, do it. Put something out there that you're interested in doing and trying. We did an adventure race. It was the Oak Mountain Adventure Race, or they call it OMAR, and it's over in Birmingham, Alabama. So I'm going to go through that and why CrossFit will work. I've been doing this with a buddy of mine, Eddie, for about, almost 26 years. And I've been doing CrossFit as my training methodology for 20 of those years. So this stuff, the spoiler is CrossFit works for just about anything and everything you want to do out there. Even endurance. I'm going to go through some things. I'm going to try to remember some stories. I'll do a shout out real quick at first here. So this end picture did not have everybody, but it's the picture that I've got. So I had Randy skiing out there. He brought a buddy, Ed Cahill, who's probably going to be coming to the gym, so you'll see him. Of course, myself, Denny Crosby, Coach David, and Coach Jordan. So those guys were out there. We also had, I don't have a picture of them, unfortunately, Zach Locker and his wife, Brittany Locker. They went with their kids. So this is something you could totally do with kids. Your patience needs to be great, but their patience was admirable. I don't know if I take that back. I did take my kids out when they were younger. Anyway, it's a fun time for most of us. I think it was fun overall, but we did have some, this hurts. I've been jogging for 3 hours or walking for 3 hours. I'm like, I know, that's what happens. So there's a lot to learn about your body. It's fun to get out there and look at a map and orient yourself in the woods and then try to find checkpoints. But the biggest thing is nutrition. How do I fuel myself to maintain over 10 hours? Well, I say that's the biggest thing because the most obvious one has already been achieved. Our bodies, through doing CrossFit, are well suited to do this sort of stuff. Yes, it's a little bit different. We don't do 10 hours worth of working out, but the bursty effects of CrossFit, the sprint, the high intensity training intervals that we do are well suited for, damn near everything. Okay, let me go through this bad boy with you. All right, so if I write a good hook, you'll come back, right? Most people think CrossFit is bad for endurance. That's true. I'm living proof that they are incorrect. A lot of people will say, ooh, too intense, too heavy, not specific enough. Okay, that part I'd say could be true unless you buy the correct gear. For example, I did a 50-mile bike ride. I don't bike very often. CrossFit allowed me to go do it. Yes, I was not first, but I wasn't last. I was really close to last. My quads did hurt, though I'm using my wife's patches to kind of mitigate that. I patched both spots, the top of my quad and the side of my quad, and I had no leg pain at all for the first time ever in any of these races. So I plan to do that on the next bike ride. But my point is, my legs did hurt specific, but usually people's butt hurts when they bike that much. Well, I bought a seat that was quite expensive. I think it's called what is it called? The Freedom Seat, the Ultimate Seat, something like that. But essentially, the middle of the seat is cut out, so you're only sitting on the outline of a seat. And so your fleshy butt cheeks are on that rather than your butt bones. And it was beautiful. Even today, my butt does not hurt, and we rode quite a bit. Yeah, so I'm going to toss out there that not only does CrossFit work for just damn near about everything, and endurance is probably the best base of fitness and health that I have ever had. And I've been doing stuff for a long time. I would also throw this one out you. If you can do CrossFit well, and what I mean by well is show up and don't do anything stupid, go through full range of motions, squat below parallel, lift something heavy, get out of breath, listen to your coach. If you can do it well, then you can survive just about anything. Now, it's true, we did not thrive, but we can survive. All right. What else I want to get into this with you? We're going to go through a couple things. I'll eventually get to some stories and hopefully convince you that, one, adventure racing is fun, and two, CrossFit, can do just about damn anything. I think the thing I would throw at you guys is, what are we training for? Most people are going to come to the gym and say, I want to lose weight. I want to be stronger. I want to, right? It's a very specific thing, but it usually has to do around vanity. While that is fine, and I want you to be vain, I bet you think this podcast is about you. It is. I want you to be vain. Not an asshole vain, but like, yes, I want to look good. That's just part of it. That's part of my slogan, help you look good naked and to become harder to kill. But we're actually training for life, the unknown and unknowable, I want to go to the doctor. Actually, I never want to go to the doctor. But if I go to the doctor, I want him to say, well, son of a bitch, you're the only person I have ever met that I'm going to say, leave me, leave my presence. You are so healthy that I'm going to take your blood and just inject it into everybody. I know that doesn't work, but actually, unless I was O positive, which I am not. So the unknown and the unknowable. Well, it's kind of known. I mean, it's the functional things, the stuff I'm doing every day. For example, today, I went to Tractor Supply and I bought 6 bags of feed that I'll use all summer long to remind the chickens, you love being here, right? Because they free range. I got to pull them back. And the best way to a man's heart or a chicken's heart is food. So these bags of food are typically 40 to 50 pounds. Well, how do I move them around? I do a deadlift to my hips, then I do a hang power clean up to my shoulders, and I walk it down the bag on one shoulder down to the chicken area. Super useful movement. I know the things I'm going to be doing. Even on this adventure race, I mean, you're running, you're biking, you're canoeing. I know those disciplines. I can do that. So I am training for the stuff life will give me. I am training, you guys know my why. I want to be healthy and fit enough to coach my kids in soccer when the day comes. So what does that look like? Well, let's see. If they start having kids around 30, let's say, they'll start playing soccer around 35 for them. So 30 to 35, they're all about 20. So it's 15 years. What am I now? Let's say 50, add 15 onto that. That's 65. I know, Jamie, you're impressed. All that math in my head. So about 65, I still need to be kind of who I am, which I know after today's workout, today's Monday, the 23rd, it was push press, push jerk, split jerk. And man, it felt heavy. And I was like, well, how much weight is this? It was only 95 pounds. I'm like, dang. Yeah. So strength may be an issue. It's always been my weakness, but whatever. We all have our own weaknesses. Mine is emotions and strength. So I want to train for whatever life's going to throw at me. CrossFit allows me to do that. The biggest thing it solves is the time available to do the thing. So if you're a person who, I don't know, I was talking to Ed and Randy on the way home. I love my family. I want to give to them. I want to be there. There are dads, husbands that say, hey, you want to go golf? Because the last thing I want to do is spend the weekend with my family. I'm like, that's insane that there are men that feel that way. And ladies, I'm sorry you found them. So I want to enjoy my family. I want to work hard, but I also want to be healthy and fit. CrossFit is the hack in the time department that I needed. Now, I have more time now. I'm semi-retired. All of my kids are about grown up. Evie can drive. She doesn't really need me. Verity's got her own budding business, and she's like, I'm good. Stay out of my way. So I've got a lot of time on my hands. I could do anything, yet I still choose CrossFit because, man, does it work and builds the community. Look at the picture of us smiling. It's after the race, and we're all smiling. Yeah, they weren't smiling. So my goal isn't to specialize in the sports that I do. My goal is to build capacity. Randy once said, Andy, when I turn, I don't know, he had some number. I don't know if it's 40 or 50 or whatever it was he was turned, or he's not 50, but when he turns that, he's like, I want to do an epic adventure. Are you interested in going out on an epic adventure? And I said, yes, I am. Hold my beer. Let's go. And he said, what if we went ice climbing, like with those picks and that? I'm like, okay, you picked the one thing I can't do. I have the capacity. I could probably get in there and do it, but I would need to invest in gloves and socks that have a lot of battery lifetime with warmth, because my fingers and toes turn white fast and super white, like dead white, like that Raynaud's disease. So anyway, my goal is to build capacity. So when David Wallace says, Andy, now we're going to go do a Spartan race, which we already signed up for, but they canceled on us. So technically I did do my part. I said I would do it. Or High Rocks with Coach Josh. I have capacity. I can do it. Will I win? No. Will I show well? Yeah. In the gym, I know Randy said this. He's like, Andy, I don't think you understand how people view you. You're an anomaly. You can do all these things. I don't think when you say an adventure race is easy that they believe you. But when we do it, us mere mortals, it's believable. I'm like, interesting. I don't think that's the thing. I think it's just a built level of capacity that, hey, I'm used to living in that suck and I'm okay enduring. Let's go. The thing I'm trying to say there is you could have this too. It just show up day after day, month after month, year after year, and edit the way you eat. I know you guys hate that part, but it's true. Actually, on the edit the way you eat, Coach Josiah has a thing. Let me pull that up real quick. Here we go. This is a podcast and it is a video. So if you're watching, great. You can see what I'm looking at. If you're not watching, if you go to @AndyMcCann42 on YouTube, you'll see the videos. I post them usually on the same days, like the Monday that the podcast comes out, or you can just listen as a podcast. Anyway, Coach Josiah said, hey, yes, I do have a nutrition Kickstarter thing that I'll take people through. It's on my website. Here are some details of it. So I was like, thank you. I'm on the road. Was I driving? I don't know. Maybe we're already at the place. But anyway, I took it, I dumped it all in the ChatGPT, and I said, here's a picture of Josiah. Give me a poster or something fun to look at. And it drew up this thing. I'm like, dang, this actually looks like him with his big guns. And yeah, so anyway, if you go to Facebook, you'll see this, or Instagram, you'll see it posted. I'll put it in the link as well. So he does this stuff for a living. So yes, he is a CrossFit coach for us. He does other coaching, personal training. He's got image consulting. I mean, this guy is all in. So nutrition, if you're interested in the nutrition, he has packages you can go to. So if you go to powersportsfitness.com/choose-your-program, you'll get to all his stuff. Or just go on to services and it'll actually have the programs. But I mean, it's actually, you know what? I'm going to pause and give you everything. So he's got 6-month online personal training. He's got online personal training. He's got home custom programming and custom meal plans. That's probably, which if you're not at the gym, that's the one you want. This other one is gym programming, custom meal plan. Home programming, gym programming, custom meal plan. So if you just want to like nerd out on what I should be eating, he's got an option just for that. If you want to combine it with your movement, he's got that. Yes. Do we do this at the gym? Not corporately. I don't. I am not the best at working with individuals like that because I'm going to tell you, well, hey, stop eating like a death row inmate and don't eat like an asshole. And if you can't do that, I mean, we really can't work together because you should have some amount of ability to do this on your own. Whereas he has a soft touch. Man, if you have ever had him for a coach as one of the classes, then you know when you walk away, not only did you get fit, but he left you smiling and having fun. So the 3 F's that we always go for is fun, fitness, coaching. And there you go. So I'll link his website in here, but he's got options for you. You should totally do this. The funny part is I was segueing for a reason and now I forgot. So you do need, I said you need to adjust your diet. Don't let me do it. Let Coach Josiah do it. I'm going to pause you guys and get some hot coffee. Sometimes when I hit pause and I walk away to get coffee, I wonder if I hit pause. Sometimes maybe I don't, but usually I always do. Okay, so you may be thinking to yourself, why does CrossFit even work for endurance? That doesn't even make any sense. It's constant, very functional movements executed at high intensity, not like, let's go out and jog for an hour. So shouldn't I do the thing I need to do? The answer is kind of yes, but more things work than you think. One way to look at it is you're building an engine, not just one gear. So actually, that's not a great, what would you say? I'm building a single speed bike versus a bike that you can adjust the gears to get different mechanical advantages. So we want the ability to swap around, and that's why we do CrossFit. CrossFit allows for the biggest variety of efforts than the other types of stimulants, which is typically hypertrophy, I just lift, or endurance, I just go jog. And so we want more than that. We want everything. We're greedy. We want aerobic and anaerobic. Now, okay, what does aerobic mean? I want to move with oxygen as my primary burner. Then I also want the glycogen and phosphagen cycles to kick in. So lift, sprint, struggle. That's the anaerobic, non-oxygen. Right? We want to boost the lactic threshold. As Thanusha asked, we want our VO2 max to be above average. How do we get there? I mean, it's literally what we do. As Aaron Dixon asked, what about fast twitch, slow twitch? I mean, CrossFit does both. So build both, right? And it's got the adaptation where you can get some of your fast twitch to grow into slow twitch. So it kind of is a hybrid. I think the other piece that people will miss is you can surge, you can repeat, you can recover. So in a race like an adventure race, you probably move for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then you need to pause, look at the map, and recalibrate. So there's a lot of recovery. Doing CrossFit teaches your body to recover quickly. Or I should say quicker than it was before. It creates a new threshold. Okay, it is true. Strength helps with efficiency. If you're stronger, you can move better, but muscle costs. You have to understand how to fuel that. So I think an issue we had at this race this time around is like, Denny, I'm going to pick on you. It probably wasn't you, but somebody said, oh, I don't need salts and electrolytes. I'm good. I've licked a salt tab before. I'm good. And the answer is no, you're not good. Many of us felt a little crampy and at issue because you weren't doing enough electrolytes. That was probably the biggest game changer for me, is dialing in what I needed to do for that pain and issue to go away. Now, funny is, I was talking to Evie about it. Many of the people met her last year when she ran this, and they're like, hey, where's Evie? So I was telling her, hey, people were asking about you. And she's like, oh, I'm famous. I'm like, yeah, I guess sort of. And she said, how did it go? What were the struggles? Because the struggles are always the fun stories. And before I could even open my mouth, she said, I bet you they fought against how much electrolytes you take and that they should take. I'm like, actually, that's true. She's like, that's so weird. You've been doing this for 20 years and you know your body should take this much. And they're like, no, I don't need that. I'm like, I know. So even a 17-year-old knew, hey, you need to watch out on your electrolytes. But she has also done, like, I don't know, adventure races for about 2 or 3 years. Okay, so being stronger does make things a lot easier, but again, it's metabolically expensive, so you need to make sure you're fueling those. I know Denny and I did have a conversation. Was it Denny? David? It was one of them. Said, hey, I'm not really hungry anymore. I said, that's okay. If you become hungry in a 10-hour race, that's very problematic. You want to stay in front of hunger. Now, you don't want to be full like I just ate a lasagna, but you don't want to be hungry. So it's somewhere in there, and I don't know what you're feeling. Only you know that. So you do need to fuel for the body that you've got. Another thing that I think CrossFit does well for us is build durability, like in the joints, as well as help us to understand how to avoid injury. Hey, that doesn't feel right. Or I tripped, I'm going to turn it into a sexy dance or a tumble and a roll, right? So we get a bunch more, what do they call it? Proprioception, our body awareness in space, than most people get, especially our age. They just stop doing that stuff. So CrossFit, you're load bearing. So if I need to do a thing, I know how to hold my body correctly. When we did our summer strength program, the primary reason I built it was for my daughter, Olivia, who got age bracketed out. They moved the soccer ages. Instead of being your age on August 1st, they moved it to your age as of January 1st, like the rest of the world in soccer. So she went from the oldest kid to one of the youngest kids, and she needed to learn to use her body better because she was not the same body type as some of the girls that were 9 months older. They were already developing, and she's like, Dad, those are like women, and wow. So understanding how to use your body under a load like a back squat is transferable to, I know how to push you even though you're bigger than me. And she was able to push kids off the ball because she could use her body appropriately, right? Full range of motion. I can squat, I can stand, I can roll, I can move, I can pick things up from the floor. Variety of movement, right? I am now canoeing, or I'm pushing my bike up a hill. It's just weird. We can do that stuff because we do that stuff. I mean, it's that part where I say it's become harder to kill. Not just harder to kill, and I'm being facetious in there, right? Like, oh, someone's chasing me. But really that kill aspect is I don't break easy, and my body is tempering up. I've leveled up my body type to just from mere human to human, or maybe superhuman. I don't know. You're helping your body's processes work better. Another big piece of it is just mental toughness. When you know you can live in the suck for just that little bit longer, or one more rep, or like we did the open, people pushed a little bit harder, or you do a competition and you strive just a bit more, I think you start to understand, oh, my body's not really where I thought it was. My brain isn't where I thought it was. Like that 50-mile bike ride, it sucked. And I was like, I should probably quit, but I mean, it's just leg pain. I'll get through it. And then I'll make a video where I lay on the ground and cry. I didn't cry. And people make fun of me like, you were really messed up. I'm like, yep, my legs and my body were super zapped. So you get used to that. You build up that mental toughness, whether it's AMRAPs, as many rounds as possible, or an EMOM every minute on the minute, or just for time, or do this an amount of. It doesn't really matter. It's going to build up this brain of yours to say, or maybe not even your brain, your ego, your id, your feeling of, I can do this. All right. So it's run a lot. It's do 3 hours of work. It's maybe even reward yourself. When I get back, in this case, there was a central transition area. We could eat something. I think another big piece that's super overlooked is adaptability. We ask you in CrossFit to show up to a workout that you have no idea what's about to happen. You trust that the coach is going to give you some guidance and take you through it, and that your body will be able to do some sort of like similar movement as that. So we're basically used to being adaptive. We're in an adventure race. They were saying like, hey, what are some of the funnest parts? What are the things you look forward to? What makes this really interesting? And my comment was the adventure. You just don't know. You don't know what you're going to deal with. Somebody's legs may get super tired. Somebody's water bladder may have a leak, and you got to figure out how to take care of that. He may make you plot points in the middle of the race. Your canoe may spring a hole. I don't know. You just don't know. And I think the unknown and unknowable of CrossFit, I mean, it's kind of known. We're not going to be like, go do a steeplechase. Actually, we would. That's something we would do. I don't know. There's some things we probably would never do. Or you could just sign out for. You're like, I don't want to do a ring muscle up. That's fine. You don't have to. So it helps us with the chaos of life, but also the chaos of an adventure race, which is super chaotic. Wrong turn, bad weather, the equipment failed, or the team dynamic. Like there was a good one. The chaos was we were looking at the map, and I said, look, if we get these 6 checkpoints, end up right here at 10:30 in the morning, then I would say we're on pace. That's a pace that I would keep if I was racing by myself. And we did. We got there at 10:30. So one, what that really meant is we pushed a little too hard. We should have slowed down. And two, the communication got off there because what was supposed to happen was let's break it down and talk. Do we go on and get the other checkpoints, or do we go back so we can change disciplines? Well, some of us thought we're going back, and some of us thought, well, we're just making a plan, and some of us thought, well, we made the time, so we should keep going. So this is where communication breaks down. So the biggest failure in communication is to communicate, but really have failed to. So that was my fault. I should have brought everybody together and made a better decision, or better yet, we should have broken up. We had 3-4 people who knew what they were doing out there, so we could have split the 12 of us into different groups a lot easier. We did split up some. That's where Eddie and Seth and Aaron took off to go do their own, which those 3 won. They won their individual competition, so that was awesome. They did a kick-ass job. So CrossFit makes us more adaptable, not just in the environment, but also our mindset. While it's not random, it's constantly varied, right? While it's not monostructural, I guess it could be. We usually have to like grab different gear, and we have to be okay with problem solving under fatigue. Hey, that thing just didn't work. I need more chalk. I need to drink some water. I need to look at the clock and catch my time, whatever it is, right? So we're problem solving with fatigue. All right. So I said CrossFit works for everything else, and it does. It's cross training, or cross fitness is CrossFit, right? I wish they would put an emphasis, a little bit more would have put emphasis on the metabolic portion of it, the eating portion of it. Greg Glassman, the original founder of CrossFit and the methodology and the company, now has a thing called MetFix, the metabolic fix, which is basically CrossFit paired with food. They kind of compete with each other, but not really. I don't know. Anyway, so there's these 10 general physical adaptations that people go for, and CrossFit is greedy. We want them all, which means we get them slower, but we get all of them. So if you think of a super ultra distance runner that's at the top of the pack, they're usually tall and skinny and kind of like wafy. They're like not really much of a person, and you kind of would look at them and be like, I don't know, I think you're sick. On the other side, you look at a strong man, strong woman, you look at those guys lifting that stuff, and you're like, wow. Maybe, I don't know if I'd say you're sick, but I definitely think you're unhealthy with the amount of person that you are, right? So there's a lot of muscle. They can't go jog. The other side is no muscle, and you wouldn't ever want them to lift chicken feed with you, right? So CrossFit's going to build strength, stamina, speed, coordination, balance, accuracy, and agility. There's like 3 more that I forgot. So it's going to build all those things plus more. Again, slowly, but we're going to get them all. The thing that CrossFit will do is aim you down the path that you're not the best at. And that is where most of the workouts like stick for you. So initially for me, it was the movements. So the coordination, I just couldn't do any of the gymnastics. I had never done it. After years of practicing, I'm okay with that. I came in with some endurance and some conditioning on my belt. But the next thing, which became a forever thing, is strength. My strength is just not the same as most people's. It is on a lower level, but I can hide that because we use our hips for a lot of things, and my hips move great. My ability to make the bar like in a jerk moves really well, so I can keep up. But my raw strength, like back squat, my bench press, my strict press, deadlift, my raw strength is actually low for the numbers that I can typically put up. And that's okay. It's been like that forever. I joke about it. Strength is my weakness. It was in that movie Jumanji. It's hilarious. I love it. It is me. Yeah, so I guess the line that I would put in here is you don't rise to the occasion, you fall to your level of training or the systems you have in place, right? In this case, the thing that limits me most, I look at the weights and say, yeah, that's going to be heavy. I don't look at like toes to bar or ring muscle ups or any of that. I'm like, yeah, I can do those things and I know where I'm at. But heavy is the problem to me, and I fall to that level of training and I'm pushing it. It's just tougher. Everything else is slotted really well. There's genetics and environment, and I just was not blessed down that road. Actually, I made a joke last night. Jordan was DMing our Dungeons and Dragons game, and something was coming up, and I said, yes, look at his arms and what we do. Jordan's got these guns that are like massive. His biceps are like the size of my quads. And I said, look at these baby arms. I've got like, compared to that, spaghetti noodles. Yet we do the exact same training. So yeah, it's weird. That's just how your body is. I'm going to end this section, then I'm going to go through some fun things from the race with you need a target. You need something out there that you can put out into the universe of Facebook. I'm doing this event, and then let them hold you accountable. Like I have thrown out in, it's August, like mid-August, I'm doing the TNGA. Let me pull that bad boy up so I can show you what it is. It is the Trans North Georgia bike packing race. And it's 370 miles. Oh, look at that. I'm on there. Jack Spirko, Harder to Kill. Love it. Oh, I got a lot of stuff on there. Hey, look at that. They're posting my stuff. Or is it only I get to see my stuff? I don't know. That's interesting. I should put the next one. March 1st, we have another endurance class coming up. Oh, it's already there. April 4th. Perfect. Thank you, guys. So the TNGA is my Masugi, whatever they call that. It's my Japanese word that means adventure for the year that is tough and looks like there might be death, but not really death. I don't want to die. I don't want to die yet. Eventually I do. I want the natural things to happen. But this is my goal. I've thrown it out. I have had you guys in the gym and other people go, ooh, that sounds interesting. I'm fascinated. Great. Now I'm accountable to the thing that I put out there. Will I do it? I mean, I'm like 99% sure I'm going to attempt some of it, but I mean, who knows what's going to happen out there, though I am taking the steps to train for it. And I got some stuff, some tabs that I want to show you to train for those. So anyway, it's easier to train if you have a goal or an event or a reason. Those that don't tend to drift and quit. I see it all the time. I've been doing this for 20 years. Do it early and have a reason. So get up at 6 a.m. and come work out and know your why. Those are the best things you could do to stick to the thing you're sticking to. You could pick anything. It could be an entry-level thing. Now, I'm going to say it's entry-level. That probably sounds bad. I don't know. Like a 5K or just a local hike or a charity event. Like I bet you if I put in here, let's see, Cherokee County Hikers. I can't spell hikers. No, there's no C. Hiker. Cherokee County Hikers. Let's see if there's something that comes up for Cherokee County Hikers in Facebook. Cherokee County Emergency Management. Okay. Not exactly what I asked for, but I bet you they know people. Oh, look, Georgia Hikes. So yeah, almost immediately I can get to some links that'll drive me down into something easy like, okay, let's go on a hike. You guys should totally be doing that stuff. Maybe something more intermediate would be like a Spartan to Tough Mudder or a local adventure race like OMAR. Maybe something more advanced would be a multi-day adventure race, which I don't do those anymore unless we can guarantee sleep because I don't do well with no sleep. Maybe a longer backpacking trip across the Appalachian Trail. As a matter of fact, man, we've done adventures that I should bring back around. Let's see if I can find this one. We did a search in my own thing. Let's see. What would we call it? It was Appalachian. So hike the AT. Let's see if that comes up. So we hiked the Appalachian Trail together a long time ago. I don't know if I have any of my pictures. Oh, there's some of it. So let's see. Here's our Facebook page for a group that we used to have. Yeah, so let me see. We did a hike the Appalachian Trail, and oh, look at that. I'm still posting to it. Yay me. But anyway, it was a thing we did. We said, hey, this would be kind of tough. It'd be fun. Let's try it. We hiked all of the Georgia Appalachian Trail in a weekend, which was super tough. I would recommend it, but be very particular about your planning on that one because it's monumentous. And we hiked south because technically overall you're going downhill. Or you could do something like my buddy Eddie likes to do these. He'll do a kayaking or a canoe trip, a long one. I would be into that if like the part that really intrigues me is, could I live off the land? Could we fish along the way and eat the fish like as part of it? The answer is probably yes, but what if you didn't catch anything? You don't want to starve. So that's not great. Now, let's see, Aaron and Matt and Tom and a couple other guys did a cool thing where they did a horse packing trip from here to there over in like Wyoming or wherever it was. And that sounded really cool where they did catch fish, but they had guides and stuff to take them along the way. So always buy a guide because you don't really want to die. Okay, so my framework of what I would do exercise-wise is, hey, I do CrossFit. I have it on my calendar 5 days a week. Do I do it 5 days a week? Mostly, but it's on the calendar and it's a block and I move it around so I can do it at a minimum 3 days a week. I think 4 is a sweet spot. And I think if you looked at my logins over time, you would see that I probably average with vacations and stuff 4 days a week. Constantly varied, some intensity, look at strength and conditioning, gather both. I do like the idea of one day, maybe not a week, maybe every 2 weeks, you do something long and slow. You run, bike, ruck, a little bit, 40, 50 minutes. I also do that when I do the trail run on my own. I do like to practice some of the skills, though I feel pretty competent in them. So I don't practice that much, which would be biking, paddling, doing some navigation. They made fun of me out there on the race because I did not have a map and I made them make the choices, but they would flash me the map and say, I'm thinking this. I'm like, oh, that sounds good. And then we would move on and they would ask a question and they go to show me the map and I wouldn't have to look at it. It'd be like, well, if you remember, the topo lines did this. And so we were looking for that. And they're like, how do you know that? I'm like, well, I looked at the map. They're like, yeah, but it's got a lot of lines on it. I don't know why. My guess, it has something to do with the reason I have dyslexia. It just makes sense. And so my brain is wired for spatial awareness. I have a theory that I postulated with Randy on the drive and Ed, that if you played those real-time strategy games, like I play a game of Supreme Commander Forged Alliance almost every day I've been playing it for a long time. I think the game came out in like 2006, and I probably play on average 1 game a day. I doubt it's exactly that, but it's got to be close to it. It keeps your brain going. It keeps you like spinning the plates. I think people who can play those games are going to be the masters of AI as you spin projects up and you let the AI kind of do the heavy lifting and you guide them along. But anyway, that was a little digression. So I also think you need to recover like a responsible adult. I don't do a lot of extra stuff, but I do sleep, I do eat right, and I hydrate like crazy. So that's a big part of those things. I'm going to post this out to various sites. I think I'm going to use this either video or the podcast to get out there, and I want to reach the fellow endurance-y people. Josh is doing an endurance class once a month to help him with high rocks, but endurance is endurance. And we want to meet locals that are also doing that. This is how we found Brittany and Zach. This is how we found Ed, right? Other people that are near and close to us in Woodstock that want to join a group of people. So we go out for these events. We pay, $200 to do an adventure race, but then we train we don't train right. you could it's like just $175, but I was like $200, you could come to the gym and train with us in the community and get this done and be much better prepared for the things you want to do. So yes, we're going to give you the training, but yes, we're going to give you the community and the people to go do it with, which can be part of the problem. It's more fun to do something with people, the story, the adventure, than to go solo, at least for me. I like to have people along for the sucky ride. Misery loves company. Okay, so let's jump into OMAR at the 35-minute mark and talk about what we did. So this is the Warrior Adventure Racing page. You go to warriorraces.com. They've got adventure races and trail runs. I do both of them with them. This particular one was OMAR, the Oak Mountain Adventure Race. I wish I would have kept the map, but I could pull up one if I need to. So they have got a whole bunch of things new to adventure racing. Here's our resource page. I didn't even see that. I love it. They've got all sorts of great stuff. I don't think they have the results like really put out there. Let's see. Schedule, awards. No, let's see. Is there another page for results? More. Oh, race results. Let's see if they did it already. I doubt it. The resolution race is up there, but not our race. So anyway, Oak Mountain Adventure Race. They also have a whole other slew of things like this Racing 101. So to teach you like how to even do what we're doing. It's really not that hard. Just go out there and try it. I would probably start with orienteering races rather than going out and doing one of these big ones. They typically give you some sort of map with topo lines. Actually, this is a really good one. I'm going to show you this. If you're listening, I'm sorry, it's not going to be as interesting. The blue squiggly lines are rivers or creeks, right? That makes sense. Then there's lighter blue ones. Those are reentrants or small creeks, right? So you may not see that one. It may not exist if it's that lightly colored. The red lines, the red dotted lines are trails. The black solid lines are paved roads. The black dotted lines are usually for service roads, usually. As David said, hey, the map doesn't match reality. Yep, sometimes that happens. They'll mark it with like down here. I don't know if you can see that with the screen the way it is. I'll go up here. So they usually do a little blue circle with a dot and they'll say like CP9. So you can kind of, actually, let me blow that up. Can I blow that up? It does not want to blow up. Nope. Okay. It doesn't want to get any bigger. So they'll do a little blue circle. I'll come back and take a permanent pin and make a much bigger circle so I know where it is. Now, the thing on a topo map, what you're looking for is all of the circles, as it gets closer and closer to becoming a small circle, that would be the top of a mountain. So if I look right here, right above this bear thing to the left of it, there is a circle with a dot. So that dot is the peak of this mountain. And then going downhill to the creek, that would make sense. Creeks are typically downhill, right? All that's downhill. This is also left or right, east or west, whatever is downhill. North and south is also downhill because it's the top of a mountain. Now, if you went southwest, you go down a bit and then back up. So they would call that a finger because it didn't drop all the way down. The next feature to note is a reentrant. The easiest way is to say, if you see right here, there's a mountain top, and then over here is another mountain top. There's a valley between them, and the creek starts. Reentrant means the water is re-entering the water system, right? So it's pooling together. So reentrant is a folding of the land where the water can kind of follow the seam back down, or the valleys back down to the water system. Anyway, that's what a map looks like. We have some local heroes out here in addition to Jeff, who owns Warrior Racing. He's headquartered in Holly Springs, so it's a local business. There's also Lisa Randall, who owns Mountain Goat Adventures, and she's in Canton, and she's got a lot of cool races at Blankets Creek and Rope Mill, which is super local for all of us. There's also Dirty Spokes, which is a local group. You can go to ultrasignups.com and find all sorts of races. And then we've got Randy's cool thing. He created this, which the text just now says, yes, they can look at it. They cannot add races because I have to pay for the tokens to spin this stuff up. So sorry about that. I added a bunch of races or sites to his list. So I just made him spend money. Anyway, so I'm going to link this. It is cfg-outdoor-events.versal.app. So Versal is VERCEL.app. If you go to, well, you're going to have to either go to the podcast, I'll remember to link it, or the video, I'll link it in there. Essentially what he did, he used Claude Code to vibe code a tool that would screen scrape all the other race events out there, like the one I just showed you with the adventure racing, warrior adventure racing. So it grabs all of that, makes a little table out of it, and then it drops it into an easy to see item for us that's tabulated for what kind of race you want to do. So it's beautiful. You can use it like any of us if you want to. Just go to the link, click on it, and you'll find your race. You can sign in and have it for your own races. What you can't do is become an admin and add races. That spins the AI bots, which causes tokens to be run, which causes money to be spent. If you have a race or a link of races that you want to be added, a website, let us know and we will add it if it's not already in there. Okay, so let me just pull out maybe a couple fun stories for you. All right, so we were headed out in the woods. And we were, let me see if I can find the topo map. Maybe somebody posted it. Okay, this would have been useful. We should have printed these off knowing we were going to race here. This is a orienteering map, which is way more detailed. Anyway, what I'm looking at is a topography map. It's got roads. It's got other checkpoints on it. They use this for an orienteering race. It is not what we did. I just couldn't find the originals. But there was a checkpoint that the clue was water tower. Now, it's not a water tower. It would have been a water tank. The difference is towers are much bigger. Tanks just hold water. Now, the thing that I know as a 52-year-old man and an engineer is that when you want to work with water, pressure is key. You don't want to force water to be, pushed. You want gravity to do the work for you. And water is heavy. So if you can get water trickled up into a tower or a tank, then you let gravity do its thing. The whole system works better. So if you got a water tank, then you want a really high spot. If you got a water tower, you can build the tower tall, but typically they're going to build them on a high spot. Same thing like with cell towers. They want them up high. Well, cell towers, because the wave propagation is stopped by a line of sight, so mountains kill it. So when it said we're looking for a water tank, I knew, hey, it's at the top of the hill. Or it's got to be on top of a hill. You just got to find the right one. So we are jogging over here on the side, and hills look all the same when you're out there. So one of my favorite comments was, we're looking for Denny, yelling, Denny, where are you? He comes from the wrong direction because he overshot it. And he's like, this map is not right. So everyone else found it, not just us, but like other teams. I'm like, why do you think that? He's like, well, it says water tower, and there's a water tower over there. That was a water treatment facility, so it wasn't really what he was looking for. But it was a nice deep circle. He's like, I should go for that, right? I said, true, except this says the checkpoint's on the hill up here. So and he'd never raced, so he didn't know what I knew. So having knowledge is good. That typically the clue means it's exactly there, and they probably put the checkpoint on the water tower. So in fact, it was like sitting right there on it, about knee high. So we all popped it. Anyway, it was pretty funny. I just like that. He's like, the map's wrong. I'm like, well, many people feel that way. So another funny one much later on, everyone's pretty tired, and there's 2 paths we could go. So basically we were headed, let's see, it's probably on this map. There was a waterfall. Yeah, right here is the waterfall. So there is a waterfall up there right in this area, and there's a parking lot because people want to walk to the waterfall. They don't want to walk all this way. They just want to park as close as they can and get there. So we needed to go from this split in the trail over to the parking lot. It's basically a rectangle. So we're either going to go, straight and take a right, or go left and then take another left, right? So it's no matter which way we went, we would get there. So they said, Evie and I talked about this. It's funny, like what she knows, even with the only like 2 years of racing we did. So we were talking about it, and I said, so there was a choice. And Randy's like, Andy, which way would you go? And I just kept my mouth shut. And I didn't have a map. Everyone else had maps, but I already looked at it, so I had it in my head. And so they're debating it. And I said, hey, remember, probably the biggest thing is don't debate so long that no matter which way you went, it was faster than the debate. And so this goes back to an old Echo Challenge. It was one of the big races. They had helicopters out there. They're chasing people, and they're like, look at these guys run. They're super awesome. So this one team got to an area, like the transition area or something, and they said, let's sleep for 20 minutes. And they're like, no, let's not sleep. Let's sleep. Let's not sleep. The video people had a timer. They basically talked for 1 hour about sleeping for 20 minutes. They should have just taken the nap, right? So you see, so we're standing there, we're talking, and we're like, it doesn't really matter which one you pick, but don't take too long to choose. So they chose the trail. And Evie's like, wait a minute, you said the other one was the road. I'm like, yeah. She was like, well, why didn't they just take the road? And that's what I would have picked. I would have done the road because roads are made to be super easy. Trails are made to be interesting. So the road would have been less effort, even though it might have been a little bit longer in distance. The effort to go through it, I mean, it's hard to miss the road, right? And it's made for cars that have wheels, and so it's not bumpy. It's super awesome. So anyway, I did not choose. And Randy was like, Andy, and he's looking at me, and I'm like, I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to wait for you guys to answer and pick something because it didn't really matter. And so he gave me the, oh, you dick look. So later on, when we were at the waterfall, Jordan made an awesome choice. He's like, hey, we could actually take this other trail to the other side of the waterfall because there's a marker. I'm like, oh, wow, I've been here before. And I don't know if I've ever noticed that. So sure enough, he led us straight up this hill. I was like, yeah, that's beautiful. That's perfect. The problem with it was when we got to the top, not always are the adventure racing maps marked correctly because the race director can go back in there and like draw things in on top of the Army Corps map that they did, back in, I don't know, the 30s. So he wrote in the trails, but they were a little bit off and maybe didn't match color scheme or whatever. So red was a trail, even though the trail was called the Blue Trail. It was marked in red because that's just the color he picked when he marked it, right? So David is like, wait a minute, we're on the Blue Trail, but like physically on the map, it's red. But in real life, it's got blue markers. We're like, that's true. And he's like, this is messed up. I'm like, yes, it is. But topography wise, where do you think we are? And so he picked it out. Then he's like, well, damn it, we got to go up there. I'm like, that's true. That's part of it. So anyway, just another funny one. The maps don't actually always match. And I can see how that would be irritating and frustrating to most. But in fact, that's just what an adventure race is. You don't always know what you're getting, which gives the race director some leeway to kind of screw things up, but it also makes it like, I don't know, it makes it an adventure. So I mentioned that, well, actually, what else did let me do another story, then I'll go to the TNGA. All right. So David's feet were really hurting. He's like, hey, I'm going to pause. When you come back to the canoe, we'll pick back up. We found him at the end of the bike. We got back in. So it was, at that point, it was now David and me in a canoe and Denny and Jordan in a canoe. So we jumped in the canoes. We have kayak paddles and we head out. Because the way the race shaped up, the lake is small and you can kind of see it here. It's not a very big lake and the boats are not allowed on it. Paddle boats are and canoes are, but not motor boats. I guess that means there's probably a reservoir of some sort then, although it doesn't say that. So, oh, you know what? She was right. That is a little extra lake. So it's Beaver Lake and Lundkener Lake. I didn't know there was two of them. Anyway, because of the way the race wanted it done, they were going to make the lake harder by doing like a star across the lake. So checkpoint 1 is down here in the south. Checkpoint 2 is way up north. Checkpoint 3 is southwest. Checkpoint 4 is northeast, right? So you go back and forth. Well, we had found some of the checkpoints out there and we marked it on our map so we knew where they were. So we just made a circle around it. So I was tempting the guys. I was like, hey, do you want to go out and get the other ones? I know we're short on time. We got in the canoes with like an hour and 15, maybe an hour and 30 minutes left. And they're like, maybe. So we went out, they did the smart thing. They're like, let's get checkpoint 12. It's over there. Perfect. We went and got it. And then they said, let's go for checkpoint 15 because it's kind of on the way. I was like, perfect. So now we're actually all the way down the lake. I'm like, look, 11 is over there, but we're short on time. What do you guys think? And they're like, yeah, let's get it. So we got 11. And then I was like, hey, 13 is up that hill. Do you want to get that? And they're like, well, wait a minute. We got to canoe over to it and then run up. Yeah, we're out. Which was a smart choice because we got back. I think we ended the race with 10 minutes to spare. I don't think there was any way we were going to get that checkpoint and back down in time. And the way they rate or they give you your standings in adventure racing is how many checkpoints did you get? After that is what time did you get? So if you got 21 checkpoints and I got 20, you beat me, no matter what the times are. But if we both had 20 and I came in sooner than you, then basically I raced faster, right? So, and it doesn't matter which checkpoints you get, it's just that you got 20. So, and it was a fun little race. Okay, I'm going to back this one up to the TNGA because I do want to kind of entice some of you guys to do this. I think it's Mulberry Gap that has more data on it. Yeah, there it is. TNGA Mulberry Gap. So it's an unofficial race. You don't pay anybody anything. You just go out and do it. So I don't know if they've got the dates or the routes set up. Oh, look at that. The gap is open. I would like to go to Mulberry Gap, but not yet. Cool. They do have the date posted. So it'll be August 15th, 2026, and we're going eastbound. So let me look for the map. All right, I can't find my map, but I found some details. So it's typically about 357 miles, and they say it takes 5 days to complete. You have 10 days to actually complete it. 80% single track, 72% unpaved, so like a Forest Service road. Rideable time, they're saying 97%. I don't know. The people talk about walking a lot. There's a lot of ascents, and the difficulty is relatively high at 6.5. I wish I could find the map. Pick your bucket list. There's some cool pictures. Oh, there it is right there. Map. Awesome. So typically you're starting over here. Can I get that in its own link? Can I download? I don't want to download anything. Whatever. I'll just blow it up. Yeah, that works. Okay. So you start over here in South Carolina, then you bike all the way over here till you get to Alabama. You can see the topography kind of goes up a lot. It's the mountain areas. It's mountain Georgia, right? My thought is this. You go for about 50 miles and you see where does that stop. So on this bottom, I'm just going through the mileage and you can see the yellow dot showing up wherever, let's see if I can drill in a bit more. There you go. Does it actually have the route on there? It doesn't. That's interesting. Usually it does. So I can kind of follow this around and say, all right, so right there is a toilet. All right, cool. What do I do at 50 miles? Is there an easy stopping spot at 50 miles? No, but there is one right here. What is that? 54 miles. And it's got whoops, let me back out a bit. It says that this is a campground. Hostel area around the bend, showers, laundries, food, drinks for sale. So what I plan on doing in this race is treating it like an adventure race. I'm going to go 50 miles to this guy right here. Then I'm going to go like 100 miles. Come on, where is it? Right there. So I'm going to hit this thing, which is called Kimmy's Cafe. Cheap breakfast, laundry, biscuits, gravy store next door, resupply. So there's a spigot at the campground. So now I'm starting to build out this. I'm not racing against time. I'm racing against Xing myself out of the race, right? So they got to, 100 miles? So then I'm going to go out to about 150. Is there an easy spot? That's it right there. So this is 145. There's Toccoa. Oh, I know that place. Toccoa Restaurant and Bar. So I'm going to camp right there or just sleep right there, right? So 150, then I'm going to do it again and get out to like around 200. So what is this thing right here? This is a convenience store and this is a pit toilet campground. So I probably would stay at the campground or go a little bit further and stay at Mulberry Gap. Actually, I'd probably do that. Mulberry Gap is what I was just looking at. They're awesome for these setups. Anyway, that's my idea. Train for the big stuff. Every day I do CrossFit. Sometimes I go out and bike, sometimes I run, but mostly I'm just doing CrossFit. Then I have these adventures out there because it keeps you healthy, keeps you young, keeps you training. You should do this. I think right now there are 3 people interested with the idea of doing the TNGA, but not actually committed. So Matt Caperon and Randy Skeen are interested with the idea, but, I'm not going to force anybody to do these things, these dumb things that I do. I just like I like the challenge. I like saying, yes, I may be 52, but I can do this stuff. All right, guys. Hey, come out, race with us. Come out, have fun with us. It doesn't have to be these things. It can be other stuff. We want you healthy and fit. We want you harder to kill. We want you to live. We live long time. We want you to live forever. Well, maybe not forever, but for a very long time. Guys, if you're in the Woodstock area, come to Woodstock, come to CrossFit Garage. If you're not in the Woodstock area, I'll help you as best as I can remotely. I would say use one of our coaches, Coach Josiah, Coach Matt, Coach Jennifer, which they do this as a full-time business, and they will help you remotely, and that's, what they do, and in person, but they're set up for it. All right, guys, y'all take care.